I think investing in Overtown's culture and history is important for future generations because there's no way for them to know the suffering that black people had in this town when we were forced to live in Colored Town. If you don't tell the stories, preserve the histories, preserve the giants, preserve the crisis moments, preserve the triumph, then how would people, young people, particularly black kids, know their history? Especially at a time when the state is determined that they will not know their real history.
It matters for future generations because that's all there is. If you don't have the memory, then a culture is extinct. With the current climate in the United States and also on the global stage, it's very important because, like I say, if they're not telling you history, if your history is not allowed, you're on the way to extinction. So it is very important that we leave this information for the next generation, just like generations before me had a chance to get to know it by those that came before.
Working at the Black Archives, one of the things that to me stands out the most is when we have Overtown residents who come and work here, and the sense of pride that they have once the building is activated. People are coming into the Lyric Theater, having a night out, and they are a part of someone's story, their night out, their celebration, and for that all to be happening in Overtown. To be able to see people who grew up in the neighborhood and may have seen the Lyric Theater, in various states of use or unuse, and with the gates around it, and it was dilapidated, and now to see it coming to life and people in the community being a part of this institution is something that for me means the most.
I hope they remember that Overtown, very vital part of the city of Miami, because without those black men that voted to incorporate the city on July 28th, 1896, which was almost half, it put Miami right at a pivotal time with the growth of the railroad and tourism. Had that not happened, Miami probably would have came into existence later, but not with the vibrancy and the urgency right at that point, with the railroad and the economics and tourism that flourished, but it was because of the black vote.
What I hope people remember looking back on the history of this community is that it would not have been built had it not been for black people. Black men in particular built this community, literally, physically built this community. The roads, the clearing of the land, the planting of landscape, all of the things that made a city, black men did that and got very little pay for it. This is important. If you're a black man in Miami in 1920, 1930, you couldn't be an electrician, a brick mason, a plumber. As the city's being built, all you could do is push a wheelbarrow. And then folks said, why are there so many poor people in Overtown? Why didn't they take advantage of? Because we were not allowed to. So in the building of this city, from the architecture to the streets to the infrastructure, we did this. We did this. That was white work and colored work. Colored work is what made you sweat. And that's what we did. And I think also a shout out to black women who neglected their families to take care of white families. Some of them, my mother didn't do it, but my grandmother did. They were live-ins. They'd live in the white person's house all week and then get to come home on Sundays, but got to be back Sunday night. A lot of black women did that. Had to abandon their own responsibilities to live with white people to take care of their children.
I believe that investing in our history is important for future generations because it's actually exemplified in what we are experiencing now. If you don't preserve your history, then you're subject to people from the outside determining what that history is going to be, determining how important that history is for future generations, and determining how that information is taught and disseminated. And so for us to be a part of being stewards of our history, it allows us to take control of the narrative.
I was looking at today some history about July 20th, 1896 on some of the local channels, and they mentioned, let's go around and look at a couple of historic places in Miami, okay? They didn't even mention Overtown. And this is the inauguration, July 20th, 1896. They didn't even mention Overtown. So I made sure I tweeted and text back that no mention of Overtown, and that was the seat of the vote. So constantly letting people know, even when we're looked over, we have to let them know right then.
The way that we had to scrap and save, and I mean, in a time when blacks couldn't even open a bank account. A long time, a black person in Miami could not open a bank account. So how did we overcome all of that? Pure struggle, determination, persistence. Our young people especially need to know how to navigate these difficult waters today, especially in this political moment with the amount of pressure to suppress our history being as obvious as it is.
I hope that they remember our community and the people who shaped it. I hope they remember that the city of Miami would not exist without black men, that black men were signers to the incorporation documents of our city. To continue to hold those truths is to continue to understand that black people have always been a thread in the fabric of Miami, that if you pull it out, it's not the same city.